one. Round one. Capture the objective.
Alright, so I'm assuming you won Trick Reaper based off of what you posted. Let's see here what we can improve with your Reaper then. Your Hammond's feeding apparently. Nice, I mean it was a good choice to take that flank there. You don't want to just walk head on to the Pharah. You might have been able to commit to the Pharah a little bit more to get that kill. Okay. Now we're gonna back up here. So let's watch this fight here. You go for the Hog and then the Ana, and you don't end up with either kill. That's the first complaint. If you're going to go for a kill like this where you pushed all the way out, make sure you commit to one of those kills and walk away with one of them. Preferably you would have just shot the Ana first as soon as you walked into this room. Right here. First shot should have been on the Ana, but I see she was behind the Hog at first. Can't really be missing stuff like that though, because that would have been an easy kill on the Ana. So if we continue, this is what really set me off here. She missed her sleep on you, so you know you're not in danger of that, and yet you still wraith away, which is going to be a waste of your cooldown, and I wouldn't be surprised if you got punished shortly after this. And if you don't get punished, you should have. You should have just walked away if you were going to walk away. Yeah, not good there. If you could have kept your rate, if that McCree was even a little bit better, he would have killed you. Flashbang you 2 headshots. Thankfully, he did not. But you need to be using your rate to get out of situations. Very rarely should you be, right there even, you used your Wraith to chase and you died. So very rarely should you be using your Wraith to just move or to go into situations. Generally speaking, your Wraith form should be used to run away and get out of bad situations. So right here you chase the Hog with your Wraith, which it's not going to do you any good. Look at that. I mean, you got a good shot off on that Hog. His health limit down to 30. I know that Reaper's a tank buster, and it can be... a lot of people want to follow tanks, but that's not necessarily what you should do. Especially now when you can get good 2-shot kills a lot of times in supports. As always, with any player, I would love to see you in voice comms, communicating to your team when you're set here, that we should be backing up here. So did you even see that Mercy was there? She was right above you for a minute. No, it took you a minute to see that. Really work on your surroundings there. Make sure that you're always taking looks around, especially on Reaper. If a Zen separates or something, very easy kill for you oftentimes. Nice. Commit to her. Okay. So let's see what happened here. It's not that it was a bad ult. Yeah, I mean, you do get the kill out of it and stuff, but your team is really losing here. So you should be running away, suiciding off the edge. If that Ana would have slept your ult, you would have gone down right away. Just need to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more aware of cooldowns like that. So like, what value did you really get here besides just taking up a good amount of time? And if it was a higher ELO team, they would have killed you. So this is good, you know, you saw, okay. So you saw that the Hog uses hook, so you know you can push in here, and you could have committed to that Ryan, but instead, as soon as there was a tiny bit of danger, you raced out, which was just another waste of your race. You didn't get anything out of that, and then now you don't have that when you need it. You have 7 shots here, and you could have shot the Ana, but you reloaded. There was no reason to reload right there. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that you guys lost this. What you really need to be looking at, though, is, like, what value have you provided to this two fights? The one time that you got a kill, half of your team was already dead. The other times that you have contributed to kills were probably kills that were going to happen anyway. Very lucky that you did not die in that ult there, but realistically it was the same result anyway.
Score 0-1. Yeah,
realistically, so far you really need to work on your Wraith form, and you really need to make sure that you're providing value. You're switching targets a lot, you're reloading when you don't need to, you're backing out with your Wraith form when you don't need to, and so that's making it so you can't really get the value that you should be getting.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Repositioning.
Commit to that mercy. Yeah. Alright. Better. Much better. Kind of a general awareness thing again there here, though. So you haven't seen the McCree at all. And you should be pressing tab to see what your enemy team has. Still haven't seen the McCree. And then there's the McCree flashbanging you. A simple look to your left could have saved you from that. Thankfully, that McCree's aim sucks. But at a higher ELO, that McCree would have melted you. And again here, kind of a general awareness thing. So Tracer dies, and then starting here, the point is still being contested. And you went for the hog at a decent rate, but the hog isn't going to be inside of this little circle here. So there's no reason for you to be in here. You should have been out there helping protect your supports. Realistically, you should have probably... Oh. See, that was good. You had your Wraith farm to avoid that. You should have backed away as soon as you saw him use his cooldown to roll away from you, because McCree is going to beat you at range. But besides maybe some target focus, not too much that should have changed, could have changed there, or that I would expect to change.
It's time.
Unfortunate. You could have heard him. I don't know if you're playing with headphones. I could hear him walking up to you. While you can melt hogs, it's not always going to happen. Especially if they can get that hook off on you. You got to be aware of their cooldown. So don't... You should just be dead here. No. You should have never ulted there. You just wasted your ult. Your whole team is dead. And I see what you saw. You thought, oh, they're all clumped up. I could get the 6-piece, carry my team. It's not going to happen.
I mean, I switched and we're getting more percentage than we did before, so...
Imagine if you could have comboed your ult into that right now. They probably would have both died. So unfortunately, At the start of this, you got some real value out of it. You took a nice flank route, got your healer. At this point, since 38%, you have not gotten any value. So now that they've gone the Pharah, I would really like to see you on this left high ground above. It's a lot of room for you to contest. It's not a flank route that's just going to get you hooked by hog and killed. There's no reason you needed to Wraith form that soon. The McCree was backing up, so you weren't in any immediate damage. Or danger, I should say. Yeah, just not a good choice there. And then now you're going to circle back around, which is just taking more time. Yeah. I mean, Reaper's one of those heroes that if you're going to get caught without cover, even just a little bit of range, it's going to take you out. And that goes right back to the value conversation we were having. You weren't really getting very much value there. A lot of the flanking you were doing and stuff just wasn't giving you the value you needed. And if you only play Reaper, that's just fine. But you need to look for ways to get value. You need to really zero in on those healers, or there's a few different styles of Reaper that you can play, but you really need to be finding that style and playing it, not going for these flanks, not throwing these random ults, and most importantly, you really need to focus in on your shadow steps. At this point, your shadow step, which is really your ability, or not your shadow step, I am so sorry, your wraith form. Your wraith form is really your only ability that gives you value on Reaper oftentimes, and you're throwing it randomly. You're using it to engage, you're using it to pull out when you weren't in any danger. So if I was to give you kind of a 3 checklist, find a style of Reaper that fits you and play it. That can be a flanking Reaper, that can be a frontlining Reaper, that can be a Reaper that zeroes in on a tank or something and just makes sure that tank is always dead, but really commit to a style so that you're not spending so much time on edges and not behind cover and not knowing where you're going. From there, my second tip would be to really focus on your Wraith form. It needs some work. You need to see when to use it, which is going to be more so when you wouldn't make it out without of it, or rare cases when there is a area that you need to traverse very fast. And then my third suggestion for you would be to really focus on your ultimate usage. You just weren't getting what you needed out of them, and that can be a tough one on Reaper because there's a lot of stuns that can just instantly stop your ultimate. Thankfully, you still get healing while you're in it. And so I would really focus on when you could like isolate that Mercy. Even if you just ulted her and maybe one other target nearby, if you could get 2 kills and you're still standing up, your team should have a huge advantage. 6v4 there with no heals or lessened heals for the enemy team. So I would really focus on your ultimate usage. I would really focus on finding your style of Reaper, and I would really focus on your Wraith form. Other than that, best of luck to you, man.